Hi Scrapbookers, this is Megan, and today Danielle are coming to you with a scrap lift of this layout. So for today's challenge, it is a scrap lift, obviously, I just said that. And we thought it would be fun to scrap lift this layout. I can't remember who it was that did it, but I saw it on, I think, Nicole Jones's Facebook group, and I messaged the image to Danielle and she loved it. So we decided to do this image. So I'm just showing you a bunch of the papers that I might be using. And the inspiration piece for this week really inspired me with the colors and the wood bookcase. I really liked that wood bookcase. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on today with the inspiration piece. So I have these two pictures and I couldn't decide which one I wanted to do, so I pulled both of them out. That one is of my brother on his mission way back in 2009, and then the one of my son is Brennan from his first year in preschool, and it was just a picture that his teacher had taken. So I finally decided that I'm going to use this photo of my brother, and I like the wood grain on this Simple Stories Daily Grind paper. So I'm going to put my brother's photo right next to all of that little embellished corner. And here it had, my mom had sent me this photo, and so I just wrote down the notes on the back. She wrote fall 2009. So I just wrote that down on a notepad so I wouldn't forget. And here I am thinking I'm going to back it with this diagonal paper, but then I decide I don't really like the way it looks against the wood grain, so there needs to be a layer in between. And so I was thinking I would use this Chamel paper from her True Stories line as the background, and that I would kind of use that as my crumple photo. I don't know if that makes sense. Not photo, but paper. But then it just kind of stood out way too much. So I was thinking maybe I'd use this arrow paper, but then maybe this blue, but none of these were just working out at all. And so I'm finally going, I try using the other side of the Chamel paper, but then that's just way too busy. So I finally decided to just go grab a off-white paper from my stash. And for this one, I had already done some mixed media on the back. I believe what I used was the Heidi Swap Color Shine in Seafoam. And I just did the packaging technique on the, with like where you smushed it against the background. I think that's what I did. I made this background a long time ago and then just never used it. So I really don't remember what I did. Here I'm just cutting it down. And then I wanted to add more of the blue color from the inspiration. So I am going to do the smushing technique, but then I decide to also spray a little bit in the top left and bottom right hand corners, because you couldn't really see the smushing technique after I put the mat on the background. So here I am pulling in another kind of greenish bluish paper to put at the bottom and one at the top. And I believe this is a Maggie Holmes paper, and it's one of my favorite papers from her. I also cut out a few of those Amy Tangerine cameras from one of her collections, and again, I don't really know what collection, because I bought a 8.5 by 11 collection, like, what was it, best of collection pack at Michael's a while ago, and this camera one was just in there with it, so I'm not sure what collection it was from. Here I'm pulling out a few wood veneers and some silhouette cuts that I had made previously. And I'm liking the way those look, so I'm going to start gluing everything down now. And that's just going to take me a little bit of time to get those all situated. Now here I'm going to glue down this love banner cutout that I did on my silhouette with some Tombow multi-glue. I was going to say Tombow mono, but that's not mono, that's multi. Then I'm going to put the camera on top of that banner. Then I'm going to glue down the big mat, and here is where I start crumpling the paper. And this is actually my very absolute favorite part of this layout, is this background piece and how I crumple it up to look like the Scraplifted layout did theirs. So here I'm just going to start gluing down the wood veneer. And to glue down wood veneer and enamel dots, I really like to use these glue dots. You can get them at Michael's, and I usually use a coupon, so because I think they're like $4 or $5. And if you use a coupon, like a 40% off coupon, then it's only, you know, like $3. So that's really not a bad price. Here I'm just going to glue down this cut apart, or not cut apart, this silhouette cut file. And that kind of takes a while. It was kind of thin, and so kind of struggled with that for a bit, but it worked out. Now here I'm going to clean up a little bit, I think. Oh no, I decided that I wanted to add a heart to that top cluster in the right hand corner of the photo. So here I'm just kind of going through my recently organized shapes. I had some sorry, I can't talk, mostly wood veneers in that one, but there were a few chipboard pieces as well. And I just pulled out a heart and stuck it up there underneath that camera. And I'm liking how this is turning out, but I need a title. So I pull out this tile alphabet, and I really like the way it looks, and it's got the color, like the wood grain color. So I wanted that to be my title. The problem is that I think the alpha only came with 2 of each letter, and I had already used some of the letters on a previous layout. So I first thought my title could be Little Bro, but I couldn't find the O or the L. So then I'm thinking maybe I could have it say Dear Bro and use this Q and just put like an enamel dot over the little tail on the Q so that it looks like an O. But then that just kept sounding really weird, just using the word bro instead of the full word brother. So I was thinking, well, maybe I could spell out brother, but I didn't have, I think I had an H, but I couldn't find another R. So then I pulled out these alphas that I have in a drawer next to me, and I'm going through them wondering if maybe I could use these on this layout, but none of them are just standing out to me like that tile alpha did. I did consider using this map print, but in the end I don't end up using it. I just didn't like it. I needed a shorter alpha. So then I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'm not going to be able to use this alpha, but I did see that I could spell out the word sweet, and then I spelled out Matt, but Matt has 2 T's in it, and I didn't have another T, so I couldn't use his name. So here I'm just kind of going through the tiles again and trying to figure something out. I'm going to cut out quite a bit of this because I seriously fiddled with this title for, gosh, like 30 minutes. I don't even know how long. It was a long time. Finally, I get it down to, I watched this sweet guy grow up. And for the word this and grow, I'm going to use this white translucent alpha. And I decide to change the word guy to boy. And I believe these are, I want to say Becky Higgins alphas. I got them in a Studio Calico Project Life kit, and it was probably a year, possibly over a year ago. And I didn't keep the name of the alpha or anything. I don't even know if it came in with the name on it. So I apologize. I don't know exactly who made these. So there, I am pretty satisfied with that title. I'm deciding that I'm going to clean up a little bit. And I think I finally decide that I don't really like the way that word up is just kind of hanging there and doesn't have anything to ground it. So I'm going to change that in a minute. But first, I decide to use this C tile and change it into an O because I just didn't like the idea of using the Q and having to cover up the tail on the Q. So, and you can like hardly even tell. I really like how that turned out. So here is where I am going to pull out that tile alpha again, and I'm going to decide to change the title up. So it's going to say, I watched this sweet boy grow up to be a man. And I'm really pleased with how this title is turning out. And it's actually going to change in a little bit, but for right now, I'm really excited about this title. And I really like how the camera and the ampersand are all just along the left side. But then I start to think that maybe it doesn't look right. Like it needs a little bit something to the left instead of the camera and the ampersand. So I don't know what I'm off doing right now. Oh, I think that I was messaging with Hannah because she is an inspiration to me. If I have a problem with a layout, I just ask her, like, what is wrong with this layout? And she tells me, and she is such a huge help. So she suggested that I put like a journaling card there or something to cover up the ampersand in the camera because it was just kind of a little bit too much with the title right there. So I pulled out a few Project Life cards from one of my Studio Calico kits from a while ago, and I'm going to kind of flip through those and try to figure out which one to use to put there. I did find that doily, and I really liked that gold doily. Sorry, I went off again. I think I was watching process videos, and so I had to start a new one. So here I really like the color of this blue and green, the gradient of this card. And so here I'm kind of changing up how I'm going to have my title now that I'm thinking I'm going to use a Project Life card right there. And I really like how that looks. So I think here I'm texting a picture to Hannah again just to see what she thinks, and yeah, so I'm going to, what am I doing? Sorry. I did a lot of sitting and thinking on this layout. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm tapping my fingers and trying to think about what else I need to do for this layout. So here I am finally deciding that I'm going to use this doily and this Project Life card. So I'm going to start gluing them down. And I'm just really pleased with how that looks. So I get that Project Life card glued down, and now I'm going to start placing the title down. So I start up at the very top, and they are backed with, they are a sticker, so they have adhesive on them already. So here I'm just pulling off the sticker behind it. And this is going to take me a little bit. I guess I could have cut all of this out. So I think I'm going to cut this out because it's going to take forever for me to get all this down. Okay, now that I am finishing up this title, I wanted to mention that today I am doing this Scraplift challenge with Danielle, who is Banning Lane. So if you haven't checked out her video on the channel, you can go back to the videos that were posted today and check her out as well. So here I am trying to figure out which pen I want to use to outline that translucent alpha, because you just could not see it at all, and so I wanted to make sure that it stood out. So I was thinking about using that blue Chamel pen, but I decided not to, and just to stick with this black. So here I'm just outlining all of those letters. And then once I do that, I think I'm pretty much done. Yeah, there's not much left that I do. I kind of do fiddle around with this word, with the word to. It just wasn't straight enough for me. Yeah, so, and then I was thinking, oh, I'm going to journal the dates when he was on his mission, but I couldn't remember, and so I had to text him about it. So here are some close-up photos. Don't forget, if you participate along with this sketch or this Scraplift challenge, we would love to see you. I will have links below to our Facebook group and our Facebook community pages. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.